Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. Well, specifically like something that kind of ties into both, I guess. I want to do like a discussion video on Morgan and Rick, and talk about them possibly reuniting in the future and how that relates to that season 6 ending with the CRM. So this is going to be like an open discussion, just giving my thoughts and opinions on this and what I hope to see what happens and what I think could possibly happen. And then you guys in the comments down below, be sure to, join the discussion by letting me know what do you think about all of this stuff that I'm going to be talking about. Obviously, general spoiler warning in case you are not caught up with the shows. And then also, if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, be sure to hit the subscribe button for more Walking Dead content like this. But yeah, other than that, let's get into the video. Alright, Rick Grimes. I know, we're all waiting to hear anything about Rick. And I think something that we're all waiting for is obviously his story. But I think, and maybe even more importantly, reunions with characters, right? Because that's the basis of this show, to me at least, is the characters. Especially a show that's been going on for over a decade. There should be good characters and we should be invested in these characters. And I think because of that reason, a lot of us are waiting for reunions between certain characters. And Morgan is one of these characters who I want to discuss. Because I haven't talked too much about Rick and Morgan reuniting. There's always, we're always talking about the other characters in the main show. But Rick and Morgan, they have a very special bond, going back to season 1. So I think it is very important for these two to reunite. Now, to do a quick recap of the end of season 6, which is why I want to discuss this right now, because we saw at the end of season 6, that it was pretty much like an end of an era, you might even say. Going into season 7, it's pretty much like a fresh start, right? Because what Teddy did pretty much destroyed, that entire area. So they have to go somewhere and restart. So the beginning of season 7, I'm assuming, is going to be like a pretty much like a fresh start, like a new beginning, you might say, relating to The Walking Dead's title there. So this opens up possibilities of stories. And another reason that I want to discuss this is because we saw at the end of season 6, and I did give a spoiler warning, so hopefully you watched the episode. But we also saw at the end of season 6 that the CRM, or Isabel specifically, somebody from the CRM, a CRM helicopter, they saved that group of people on the road, like Luciana and Daniel, Wes, that main group that was on the road, they got saved by the CRM. So now we have the CRM in the picture. I mean, they've always been in the picture, even for Fear the Walking Dead. They were in last season with Isabel. I mean, Isabel's like the main person, the CRM, who's on the show. Like we saw that last season with Isabel and Althea, obviously the main show with Rick, and then the World Beyond is focusing a lot on them. Now the World Beyond has shown us more of a darker side to them. In Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead, the CRM, they've pretty much gotten the group out of situations, right? Like they got Rick out of that situation, they saved Rick, and now in this show, Fear the Walking Dead, they saved the main group on the road. But the point is that everything is connecting. Everything is connecting, and now we have pretty much the whole group on the World Beyond, or excuse me, I keep mixing up the show titles. Pretty much the entire group on Fear the Walking Dead now knows about the CRM. So that's a pretty big thing. I mean, a lot of the characters weren't there, I'll be honest. Like, yeah, I mean, I know I just said like a lot, the majority of the characters know, but because a lot of these characters know, I'm sure they're going to eventually end up telling the rest of the group, because that's been like a thing on The Walking Dead. Like, nobody really knows about the CRM. So on this show, things can be different and more characters can know about them, which I think could spark, more interest within the characters of actually exploring that area. So this brings me to Morgan, because if Morgan finds out about the CRM, like, what do you guys think? Do you think he will be interested in them to go and explore that area? I mean, would they even be allowed to? Because remember, Isabel, I don't even know if Isabel is even allowed to be doing this because she was out scavenging and then she met Al and then she got into a totally different situation with these characters. So I don't know if Isabel's even allowed. Like, we don't know what's happening. We don't know if Isabel can bring back an entire group of people to the CRM. But I'm assuming we'll learn a little bit more in season 7 about that. Like what Isabel is going to do. Is she going to drop them off somewhere else, or tell them more about the CRM, which I hope she does. But the point, going back to Morgan, is if Morgan finds out about the CRM, do you guys think he'll go there? I mean, it doesn't have to be in season 7, it doesn't have to be in season 8, like sometime in the future though, like if he knows about this CRM. And I think this could set up that Rick thing, because like I was talking about a second ago, I think Rick and Morgan should reunite. I feel like, in some way, we always talk about certain characters, reuniting with Rick, whether it's the movies and the main shows or in the spin-offs or whatever, like characters like Michonne and Judith and RJ and, Daryl, Carol. Characters like these are always characters who I think should reunite with Rick in some way in the future. And Morgan is definitely included in that list. And I would even argue that other than Michonne, to me, I think Morgan is like the number one person who should reunite with Rick. I mean, it would just be so cool to see them reuniting, especially since those two were in episode 1. Like, episode 1 of this show is what kickstarted this entire franchise. I mean, yes, the comic book did, but you know what I mean, like the AMC franchise. Because AMC is starting to do their own things, and create their own stories. But that being said, that's what I mean. Like, I think Rick and Morgan reuniting is something that should happen. I'm not asking for it to happen tomorrow. I'm not asking for it to happen, next season, but just sometime in the future. What do you guys think? I think it should happen, and I would be really shocked if there isn't something between them, whether that's talking on the radio or something, before this I don't want to say before the show ends, because there's spin-offs and movies, obviously. So I guess the best way to put it is before the character stories ends, right? I feel like there should be something between Rick and Morgan. So Lenny James has actually spoken about reuniting with Rick, because that's something that people have asked him in interviews, and just recently, with comicbook.com, which I'm going to read what he said. This was before the finale. But I wanted to wait until after the finale to make this video, but let me go ahead and read exactly what he said again. The interview was with comicbook.com, and it says, "I couldn't possibly answer that question. It sounds nice though," James said with a laugh. "I'd quite like to see that episode, but I couldn't possibly comment on that. What I can say is that there's one more episode to go in this season, and anything can happen in that episode, as we've shown throughout this season." All right, so this was his response. It was a very specific question. So the question was like the helicopter rescuing Morgan and flying him into the Walking Dead movies. So it was a very direct question. So that's what he meant when he said he couldn't possibly answer that question. Obviously, he can't answer that question. And we did see the finale. Now, Isabel's helicopter did come and save the group, but it didn't save Morgan just yet. But I'm assuming, because quite a number of characters now know about Isabel in the CRM, I'm sure Morgan will eventually find out, assuming that he will reunite with the group, because that would be I'm assuming he's going to reunite sometime in the future. So we can see here that he said, anything could happen. And then in the past, he's also said that, he would like to work with Andrew Lincoln on the movies when, people asked him that. So I think that means, if they were to ask him, he probably would do it. So it just depends if they want to go in that direction for his story. So what do you guys think about that? Because that is the main discussion, for Morgan's story. Is he going to go in that direction inevitably? Is he going to eventually reunite with Rick? I think yes. Because, again, they started the show. I mean, those two started the show. They were there in episode 1. So, I don't know. For Morgan's story to end or Rick's story to end and those two not seeing each other again, and they don't even have to see each other. I guess acknowledge each other or hear each other's voice. Something, just something between them. Again, in the future, it would just be, odd and just something that's left open-ended maybe. I mean, they could do that, but I don't know if they would want to if they want to complete the story. So you guys let me know what you think. I think it's definitely possible for some sort of acknowledgement between these two. And something that I'm definitely interested in seeing, soon in season 7, hopefully, is like Morgan finding out about the CRM and the group, as a matter of fact, because like that, I want to see them ask questions and hopefully Isabel answer some questions. So this is definitely an interesting story to look forward to in season 7. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to in season 7. But you guys let me know, what do you think about, this Rick and Morgan thing? Do you think they're gonna reunite? Should they reunite? How? When? Let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments down below. Like I said many times in the video, I think they will in some way learn of each other's like journeys. Like I think, Morgan will learn about Rick or something like that. I think he could potentially learn about it on Fear the Walking Dead, but I think if there's going to be a reunion, it would be like in the movies. I don't think Rick is going to come on Fear the Walking Dead. So, if anything, Morgan would go to the movies, which would be pretty cool. So, again, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But as far as this video goes, I am going to wrap it up there. So, hopefully, you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. And for more Walking Dead videos like this, be sure to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Please take care, and I'll see you guys soon.